And you don't, like, you know, watching all this, like, they're set up across the range is fantastic. You're not doing anything weird, all this movement. Fantastic. Really nice. First thing off the bat is this beginning. Rhythmically. Let's see if we can get a great degree of rhythmic clarity. There's a couple of things working against this. First of all, for you guys that maybe haven't played this, there's a quintuplet in it. Okay, or university bomb right now. And when I played this piece too, I've had a lot of time with the metronome. Click, 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 ba ba ba, hippopotamus ba, ba ba ba, hippopotamus ba. But the other thing I'll tell you, the worst rhythmic thing in my book, like my biggest pet peeve, is ties. I hate ties. I hate them, hate them, hate them, hate them, hate them. Ba da 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 hippopotamus ba. Just say it with me, okay? We're gonna start on this approximate singing pitches, okay? We're not actually sing that. Yeah, okay. 1, ready, go. Ba da 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 hippopotamus ba. You do it without me. 2, ready, go. Add the fingers to it. 2, ready, say it. Yeah, how'd that feel? That's about the tempo you're going. So I don't know, if it were me and I was wanting to clear this up, I would go a shade. Let's take a shade over the tempo, okay? Let's start right on the downbeat. 2, ready, go. So it's the quintuplet, and you can hear the articulations on each note aren't exactly quite the same.
Yeah.
Da 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 hippopotamus. Da 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 da. Okay, 2, ready, same spot. Yes, 1,000 times better. Now, can that F sharp go to G? Ba da 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 hippopotamus ba. 2, ready, 1. Yeah, good. So the greater degree of clarity that you can get on that quintuplet, the better. Start beginning again. Okay, so you did this before. Boom, beam, bomb, but we changed the treble clef. Boom, beam, beam. Hey!
That's
yes. That is that easy, I know, right? Every once in a while we get thrown a high lob. Yes. Good. Oh, the other thing I was going to point out before I forget, there's actually a misprint in this part. It should be an E flat here. I don't know, anybody have a pencil? Or you could pen it in, actually, because it should live on the page. There you go, pencil friend. Phone a friend. Right there. Okay, when we get there. Good. So the same thing, I'm not going to make you do hippopotamus or university, depending on if you like universities or hippopotami better. Good, start bum bum beep. Can these little gestures be a little more bob? He's got tapers in on all of the ends of them. They're cute. Be cute. Good. And now going forward with the piano. Love that low G. Awesome, 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 awesome. Let's have a clarity moment. Now I'm talking about in regard to pitch and not necessarily rhythm. Ba-dee-da-dee-da-da-da-dee-da. Start on that I-A slowly, just for sound. B-da-A. This is the sound one. Yes. That sounds more like your. Yeah. But now, B-da-da-da-da. That was a more consistent sound. I lost a little bit on the D. B-da-da. Slow enough that you're just listening for sound. Good. Now lead to the G. B-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-ba. This should be the loudest note. I'm going to be your pulse. Dee-dum-bum. Every once in a while when we get to the faster figures, you're being a little bit see with the pulse. And this isn't a Mozart, right? But we still have to have some dedication to the pulse. Let's just start with one. See, it's a tie. I told you they're the worst. I'm holding it too long. Be-dum ba 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 be-da be-bum be-dum ba 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 be-da-bum. This piano. Yeah. Well, what were they originally? Back in the day, way back when in the day. Not sure. Any thoughts from the gallery? Back in the day, they used to play the orchestra, tutti orchestra would play a big old 1/6/4 chord, and then the soloists would get to do whatever they wanted, just improvising. They would just la 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 la, you know. Nowadays, we think out our cadenzas big time. I don't know anybody who actually steps out on stage and actually does a cadenza, like just improvs. We usually write them out. Here we've got one written out, okay, but we can still kind of engage that improvisatory spirit. Maybe it should sound like I'm just up here gonna tub on my horn for you a little bit, you know. So this is what you can be loosey goosey here, okay. So it doesn't have to be perfect 16ths. It doesn't have to be perfect triplets. Just have like a total like Whitney, not Whitney, Mariah moment, okay. Okay, just like diva out. These can all be, like I said, they don't have to be totally in time. Do them slowly once, and I strictly want, if we're gonna do it musically, we're gonna do it just for accuracy. Okay, slurred. So these two are the culprits here. La di da da, A minor. Go a little faster. Fi da da di do. And the tongue. Di do do di do. Do more presence on every. That's yes. Whatever that was. Every time. You hear it now. I'm going to do this lightly because I hate it when people mark my music, so I'm breaking my own rules. Okay. A minor. You need to put your like low horn playing in a bottle and sell it because it sounds so good. It sounds so good. That can be
arranged in the studio.
Yeah, we've got great entrepreneurial spirit. You just gotta engage whatever he's got going on. Great. Okay, I know we've got more people.
Toni?
Yes. Awesome. Really good. Thank you.
Mine actually following the order.
Oh, I don't even
Toni,
know.
are you next on the list? Yeah. Okay.
She's got homework.
I know. I have no idea what your music ed majors are.
This is your music ed. I did my undergrad in ed. You're in good company. piece. I love this whole collection of notes by Gliere. Beautiful. All right, your impressions first.
There are a little rough spots.
That's it?
I mean, I played it better, I think.
Okay. So what would you like to do better?
I would like not to like frack notes.
Oh, there were hardly any. There were hardly any in there. I think when we play at slow tempi, it's kind of up to us to make long notes and slow moving notes exciting. They need movement, they need something. Because if we just sit on a long note, it's just... So always there should be some direction, either pushing forward or moving back, one way or another, okay? So, even like this first, just play the first measure, even with this first tie here. Just to, like, sometimes I'll even think the subdivision in my head, not even just because I want it to be the right length, but because it's like, it's like something happening. Okay, so I want energy in the long stuff. Dial tone. No dial tone. Good. Now, we've got some other notes in here that are, again, leading. And do you have a break? I noticed you have breaths marked, but you're not taking all of them. It's one of those like Pirates of the Caribbean, like their guidelines, but not actual rules sort of thing. Okay. I do think that having a plan, especially again when we're playing long held notes, breathing is going to play prominently into how we carry off the melody. You know, it's sort of like punctuation in a sentence. You know, you wouldn't just put a comma. I ate the sandwich. You know, I love you. But that sometimes that's what's happening as you play. So think about where you're breathing in regard to the overall phrase. See if you can hold yourself true to whatever it is you decide. Yeah. you know, and again, I feel like maybe part of it is, you know, playing in we get practice room syndrome too. I don't know what the practice rooms are like here, but if I play for too long in a practice room, you know, in CCM and it's like this big, think about like, I don't know, like being outside, like it's nighttime, nocturne, you know, you can get even bigger here. You did beautifully with the breathing in that first part. That was great. You did this here and it worked. Like not only did you get through the phrase better, but it actually worked in the context of the phrase. That was great. Can you start here and measure 13? And as much as you can, okay, sound-wise. And if you have to add in another breath, do it. He's got it marked all over. You're not even taking some of the ones he marked. Okay, and then release it. That copy. Don't let the phrase necessarily go down too much. Okay? So these like octaves. Same presence on the bottom knee as the top one. Start here. Starts on that G. Since we're going to be going down in pitch anyway, it tends to sound softer. So let that kind of play to your advantage. La-da, and then come back on that lower G. But I feel like if you come back on the air here, you're going to get the ooh. You're going to get that magical thing that like only happens in sword players, and the bottom G's like. Okay. La-da. To start right on it, sorry. Same thing, energy through the long note. Sorry, back that. The energy was nice on that high G, we just gotta get that high. This guy won't put that anymore. Time.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go on the Anita.
To the Strauss. One
Yeah,
Great.
Everyone's dying like my bitch.
Dinner of Champions.
Oh, yeah.
Is that cereal? Yogurt?
Yogurt.
Mm-hmm.
See, with like this, the ensembles don't work around you. It's not like all the other majors. So.
Are you a Musette?
No.
performance can.
So lunch is usually at like 3 o'clock, which just confuses dinner time.
You could be geriatric like me, because I teach brass methods at 8, but I get to get to school at 7:30. So I eat lunch at like 10, and dinner at like 4. Me and the old folks. I'm sorry.
Anita.
Anita. Very colorful.
Yes.
I dig it. I dig it. It's like Jimi Hendrix plays Strauss. Don't smash your horn at the end.
Play backwards though.
I'm not playing that movement.
Okay,
Oh, don't
just
fall.
the first movement?
First and second.
Okay, alright.
Let's get the water out first. Can I play a couple notes to warm up?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
Just kidding.
Alright.
Let's just do this minute.
Oh, this movement, alright.
Yeah, we got deep materials. Wonderful. I'm going to do the same thing to you. Is this going to bother you totally? It's just in your beautiful face. I just feel like it is too high. Okay. Let's start with the fanfare at the beginning. Notice that the first two notes are actually a pickup and they're not beat one. Right now, you are like all about that first B flat. Bum ba-dee, but it's really bum ba-dee. This is the downbeat. Okay, so can you give me more high F? And it's not that you don't have, I'm definitely presence on the B flat, but our goal note is F. Even more. Are you guys still hearing? I'm hearing more B flat than F. Bum ba beep. That's better. Can I get more front on the F? I'm hearing more bum ba dee do 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 or do dee dee dee. Atta girl. Good. Keep going this time. Fantastic. That was, I mean, a totally different sound there because our articulation was clear. That was fantastic. Good. Oh, this octave F. Right? Everybody's favorite moment in this piece. It's like, can I play an F in tune? And that middle low register is like everybody's favorite register. And yeah, let me hear that low F, just that low F. How about on the B flat horn? Good. Just have a second, and I want you to, when you play low, what kind of things do you think when you're playing low? I'm talking about your air.
I think like strong, slow, steady air.
Slow, steady, those are great words. Can you make hot air against your hand? What's the cone? Oh. We want lots of open, resonant space in our mouth. Oh, you can think about like you just put an entire, and I've almost done this in my moments of hunger, an entire baked potato in your mouth. Okay, just pretend. Baked potato. Okay. Just play around with it. I just want you to find that sound. Low F. Give me as much air, as much sound as you can. Fill it up, articulate and find that sound. You can actually think taw down there, taw. I want you to articulate a long tone. Taw, taw. Maybe more, a little more front. Taw, taw. Bricks, bricks. Taw, taw. You get there quicker. Taw, taw. That was it. Good. Good. And as much clarity as you can. I know it's a tall order. Front to that note, because especially in the context of when you're standing on in a big hall and you're playing this, we want like immediate sound. We want it to be able to be present. Because things that sound like kind of nice stuff here don't translate out there. It's whoosh. Okay. Holding. Okay. There. Again. Somebody that is our. Great, good. And now it sounds like all one kind of long phrase, but as much as you can to make that like front a little clearer. Get the percussion out of there. This isn't for horn and drum set and orchestra.
Horn and liquids.
Yeah. The River Anita.
River Anita's flooding everywhere.
Yeah. Equal showers, spring, Strauss development section.
Are you sure that's on somewhere? That's it's freaking everywhere.
That's why we signed up for this one, right? I just wanted to like click and clack around and gross out everybody in the woodwind section.
Oh yes.
All right. Going on. gentlest. I feel like you're like petting a cat while you're playing this. This is, I mean, like, this is heroism. This is like, you know, like you need to be a little more of a hero petting a cat. Also, there's one breath in particular where you are losing time.
That one.
Right, but after this gorgeous high B flat that you play, start right there, and I'm gonna be your rhythm police. Do 1, 2, 3. Going way better. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Sometimes even just something as simple as playing the subdivisions on these can be helpful. And do you remember what I said about in the Gliere, anytime you have a long held notes aren't exciting to anybody on planet Earth. No. So again, thinking subdivisions can kind of like give you like a just keeps your energy flowing. Okay, like there's movement happening. Good. Going on. Fortissimo, energetico. Okay, no more armchairs and cats. This is like, okay, development section. Lay it on us. Hey, right? That development was great sound, great energy. I loved it. Yeah, and you wrote keep energy.
Yeah, it's like what about there?
Uh-huh. And so really we don't come back until all the way here. Okay, so to the extent that you can, and where do you have a breathing plan? What is your plan?
I breathe there, and then if it's big enough breath, I can make it to the
end of the
end.
phrase.
Okay, and if it's not, then bad things happen.
No bad things happen. Not our most ideal things. Our plan doesn't quite go as we plan. Start this next phrase, okay? Great dedication to pitch. Sometimes these A's. Now, trigger 1 and 2.
Yep.
Be aware, be aware. Before we get to all this triplets up. Your 16ths here are much cleaner than earlier when we had this beam, bop, dum, 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 dum. How are you toning that?
I'm single toning them.
Both of
Should I-
them?
Yeah.
Have you ever tried
have never tried that.
Start. I'm going to take you all the way back to development, but obviously it applies because you have this essentially the same rhythm, not quite the same rhythm, twice. La di da 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 dum or da 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 dum. How about here? Body dum da 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 dum. Ah, yes, but don't body do, it's a da-di-di, da-di-dum, da-di-dum, ka-ta-ka-ta-ka-ta. Guess we want that to be ka-ta. Da-di-da, ka-ta-ka-ta-ka-ta. 1, 2, 3. I love that. Great, yeah, and it helps with the momentum forward. Before they were kind of da-di-da, ta-ta-ka-ta-ka-ta, da-di-da, ta-ta-ka-ta-ka-ta. Okay, it's the scale going up to this. Overall, it's very, I know it's marked piano, but you're a soloist.
Yes.
And especially in this register, like right underneath the staff, when you've got a tutti orchestra or even a piano, you know, if it's like, especially a full stick, like, piano's gonna win. Don't let the piano win.
Oh.
Okay, so sound, presence, in all places. All right, finish out the movements. Bum, 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 bum. Well, hold on. That would mean that this would have started dee da 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 da. You didn't start that fast. All of a sudden, as soon as you saw all these notes, you started wah! The tempo went out the door. Dee, so da we da 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 da. We da 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 da. Triple saxophone. Good. Can we make this sound? Right now it's, oh my god, an octave.
Yeah.
Ba-bee, ba-bee, ba-bee. They're connected. Ba-bee, ba-bee, da-da-da. Just that much. Ready, and oh. Yeah, good. If it were me. Both on the beach one. Ba-ba, ba-ba. They just like, it's like popcorn.
It is like popcorn.
One, so I'll count you 1, 2, 3, and you're ba-bee. 1, 2, 3. Bim, bam, bim. Excellent. The multiple time you play around with that, it's already cleaner. Long notes aren't interesting. Give them direction. Already lots of improvement. Watch it. You don't take off your races. Everybody does that. They rush on that. And the triplets will feel slow. You sound great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, that's great.
Any questions for her?
Yeah.
Can you just talk about some of your research or like what you're doing, stuff like that?
Absolutely. Even on the full break. Or just anything? Just talk. Well, who here is going to LA?
I wish I could.
Oh, okay. So I kind of have two. You're undecided.
I'll be there, but I didn't have money for the actual day.
It's expensive. It is.
So it's
It is very expensive. Well, I kind of have two areas of research that I'm pursuing currently. The one I'm talking about in LA is actually I've done a research study with University of Cincinnati. The CCM, where I go to school, is like a part of the University of Cincinnati, and I've done a research project. I actually found out, this is kind of strange, that I had a speech disorder, such that I formed consonant sounds like T, D, N, and L, like all the things that we use to play the instrument. I used the middle of my tongue instead of the tip, like we're supposed to say two when we play. Well, I was going, like I was using my jaw to move my tongue all the time. Anyway, I was like, I should investigate how speech relates to articulation, because like you use the same parts of your tongue and your face to talk as you do to play. It's all the same stuff. So logically, if you have a speech problem, you're going to have a horn playing problem. So anyway, it's just about speech, and that's not anything super new. I mean, like Jacobs, Farkas, they all talk about, you know, using syllables to articulate things like that. So kind of like this study I did, I played my horn on an ultrasound machine, so I could like watch my tongue move and stuff. It was really cool. But my dissertation is on oral approaches to teaching the instrument, so you know, like rote teaching. And I was telling Professor Berger that when I first started horn, I didn't have like any sort of musical background really of any kind. Like I was one of those kids that like, oh, band sounds fun, you know. But I didn't have like a musical ear. Or I didn't like have musical training, and so I would go home crying from band because I didn't understand. You know, I pushed first valve down and like, no, that's not the right note. You know, I'd be getting F instead of D or whatever. So I decided to, you know, after starting like ear training and solfege in college, I was like, oh my God, why don't they teach this to kids? You know, because then I could be like, oh, you know, I'm starting on the fifth, that's sol, and I could hear sol and blah, blah, blah. So I've become like very, very interested in the work of, who here has heard the name Kodai before? Music ed people? Yeah. He has a whole system of, his whole methodology is singing based and solfege based. And I was sort of investigating like, okay, how do classroom teachers teach pitch? And I loved Kodai stuff because it's all, again, singing, and we sing all the time when we play brass instruments. It's even physically very similar, right? The breathing, the shape of the oral cavity, tonguing, you know, when we articulate. So I've used Kodai materials with horn players, brass players, and they work great because again, it's all singing based, you know, so we can buzz through some of the exercises, sing, buzz, play. They're fantastic. So my Fulbright grant is to go and get certified in Kodai methodology in sort of the Mecca, which is outside of Budapest, and then hopefully write like horn method books for, you know, beginners, intermediate. So that they can like refine their ear at the same time they're learning like all the fundamental stuff that we try to teach in band. So that's in a very, very, very brief nutshell what I've spent the last 3 years of my doctorate doing. I don't know if that answers your question or.
I just have another like question. Like, so then you're talking about solfege and stuff. Do you use fixed dough or movable dough? And then how do you apply that to the horn because the center of the pitch is different?
It's an excellent, excellent question. You said you are music?
No, I'm a performer.
Your performance, okay. One of the things they say in the lecture, and I swear it's not supposed to be a dismissive answer, is that I personally, in my own stuff, I like Kodai and it's movable do, la bass minor. But I'm not going to stand up here. I mean, the fact that if you look at every major conservatory around the world, and it seems like every single one of them not only has a different method, but has probably changed their approach to teaching it. I know CCM just changed the oral skills and musicianship classes approach within the last 5 years. So I really honestly don't. I'm not going to take a stance where I'm just like, this is the way. I know what works for me. But I can tell you, I do oral skills training with 25 different horn players in the CCM horn studio, and have the last 3 years. So that's, I don't know how many different people, 40 people, 50 people, and everybody's got their own way about it. Like some people just use a neutral syllable, some people use movable do, some people use fixed, some people like numbers. Numbers never did anything for me. But we're all different brains, you know. Like, so for me to be like, this is the way for you, you know, it's just, that's just good teaching. You know, it's the same thing if you're buzzing the mouthpiece. Maybe your approach to, you know, one thing works well, and maybe for another person it doesn't. So I guess my answer for solfege is I know it works. You know, do you have a preference?
Well, we used movable dough
Here,
so it's
okay.
like all in the next one.
Then use movable do. Doesn't matter. Not that it doesn't matter, but if there's something that functions well for you, I say stick with it. Yeah.
And then with using movable do, you said you prefer la minor, which the music ed students, we learned that as well. do you find that works better rather than do minor with people?
You know, part of the war that I'm that I'm faced with is that everybody's coming from different predispositions conceptually. You know, you get some people who were, I think, based on what, like, we all tend to gravitate towards what's most familiar, right?
Right.
And so, you know, like Kodai had his own reasoning for why La bass minor. A lot of that had to do with the fact that just the Hungarian tradition is based on folk melodies and things like that, so they use a lot more modal music than we do, and so the same sort of like tonic dominant relationships and things that we associate with the diatonic scale don't apply. But yeah, it's sort of the same answer as before, where, you know, if you're coming from something that worked well, then why switch? Now it can be its own mental exercise to have to do things in different, you know, like try it in we do this with modal music. Actually, I'm in a musicianship class right now that's Kodai based, and for my cognates in music. I also have a K-12 teaching certificate, so I've done the whole music thing. I'm totally with you guys. I'm for pedagogy and education. But anyway, we'll interchange them. We'll do do bass minor and la bass minor, and it's like its own mental exercise to have to switch back and forth. You know. Good questions.
I have another question.
Sure, keep them coming.
Like, this is something that I've kind of noticed because we're horn players, and in our sight singing class, of course, we use a piano, which is in C major, and it seems like there seems to be a
Concert.
problem.
You mean concert pitch?
Yeah. There seems to be a problem with our instrument being an F versus, like, it just seems like the center of pitch is turned around sometimes. You kind of don't know. Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, you're talking about like equal temperament.
No, like,
It's just something mental.
It's like if you've been playing your horn and then you go to your orals class, you can't necessarily hear the pitches because you're thinking of it wrong.
Oh.
like and you ever think, like, I don't know, something that, like, went through my mind is, like, what if we had oral skills specifically for, like, brass players versus, like...
That's what I'm talking about. That's why I'm going to go do this Fulbright, and then I'm going to send you the first copy of whatever method book I write. No, I get what you're saying. We have this total disconnect between what happens at 8 a.m. oral skills class, and then, like, we go to practice, and it's like they're two, like, completely separate things, and they're the same darn thing. Like, that is just a big old microphone for whatever you buzz in the mouthpiece. How many times have you played the right note because you can hear what it is, so you put the wrong finger down? I do that, like, on a daily basis. It's because you can hear what you want, and the horn is, again, just like a microphone. So, there are I will tell you that you say, I wish there were oral skills for brass players. Vern Reynolds wrote a book of 2 studies, for intonation studies for horns. I know that's not necessarily like a solfege thing, but I mean, there are resources, the Colley tune-up system. That's mostly intonation based, more so than, like, if you're thinking about more like linear, like melody sorts of exercises. But yeah,
Can I say that I put that plug out there regularly for that?
it's great, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
Have you heard of it?
I haven't.
See? There you go. Yeah, so there are some resources, but it's still, in my opinion, there's a big void in the literature. You know, because it's kind of a scary thing to teach. Like, almost every time I do that, like, I talk to like OMEA, and I'll do, like, music educator, sorts of things. And you always get that person that's, like, terrified. You're like, what do you do when you've got a kid that's, like, just can't match pitch? You know, like, they always contest me, like, what do you do? What do you do? It's just like playing the horn. Like, if a kid can't get a lip trill or, like, a lip slur, are you like, well, looks like you're just not gonna play lip slurs? No. You know, if a kid can't match a pitch, then start where they're at. Okay, let's play higher versus lower. Maybe that's where you have to begin. You know, maybe they can't match a pitch, but over time it will get better if you work on it consistently. We tend to just, like, if we hear somebody we think is tone deaf, we, like, just run away because we don't know. It's, like, scary. It's like, what do you do? Can you, oh my God. You can work on it. You can work on it just like you can develop anything else, I promise. guys are a lot of fun. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for driving out.
Yeah, you know, for you guys, anything. It was a pleasant day for a drive.
Yeah.
That's great.
Thanks guys for schlepping out. I know you're busy.
Yeah, and for staying late. I stayed late. Cool, great.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks again.
Yeah.
Oh, no class next week.